Hey y'all, welcome to the Capitol Report. I'm Camille, and I'll be keeping you up to date with what's going on in the capital city of Baton Rouge. Let's get started. Today I have 3 main points I want to go over with you. First, I'll briefly touch on the governor's appearance at LOGA's annual meeting. Second, the governor's most recent appointments to his executive branch. And third, the recently announced House committee appointments. Last Thursday, the governor opened LOGA's annual meeting as our breakfast speaker. Let me give you a brief overview of what he touched on. First, he discussed his plan for moving forward, relaying that the Revenue Estimating Committee would be meeting February 10th. He explained that the budget crisis would most likely only get worse, and we'll know more details after that. He then went on to explain his budget proposals for the state, and wanted to reassure us that no part of his proposal that came out the prior week was specifically targeting the oil and gas industry, and that he was very open to suggestions on how to move forward. If you would like to comment on the tax proposals and how they're going to affect your company, send your comments to LOGA's president, Don Briggs. A link can be found on our Capital Resources page. This past Friday, the governor made more executive branch appointments. Let's go over the 2 individuals who will serve as the regulators for our industry. First, Governor John Bell Edwards named former Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality official Thomas Harris as the Secretary of the Department of Natural Resources. Harris previously spent nearly a decade with DEQ, where he developed the state regulation and remediation standards for the evaluation and corrective action of regulated sites. For that second appointment, the governor appointed former State Attorney General Richard Ayub as the Commissioner of Conservation. Ayub is from Lake Charles, but currently resides in Baton Rouge. He held the office of Attorney General from 1992 to 2004. He has been practicing law since. This position is of key importance to the regulation of the oil and gas industry in Louisiana. Alright, let's move on to my last point. Let's go over the House committee assignments that the Speaker of the House, Taylor Barra, made public last week. Let's start with the House Natural Resource Committee. Representative Stuart Bishop of District 43, a Republican from Lafayette, will serve as the House Natural Resource Chair. Bishop has previously served as the Vice Chairman of the Natural Resource Committee. In his professional life, he is currently the co-owner and sales manager of Baldwin Ready Mix. Representative Chris Leopold of District 105, a Republican from Belle Chasse, will serve as the vice chair. He was elected to the House of Representatives in 2011 and has previously served on the House Natural Resource Committee. He is in construction and sales in his professional life. As I mentioned when I went over the Senate committees with you, it is also very important to know who handles the matters of taxes, raising revenue, bonds, and debt, but this time in the House. That would be the House Ways and Means Committee. Let's go over the leaders of that committee. Representative Neil Abramson of District 98, a Democrat from New Orleans, will serve as the House Ways and Means Chair. He was elected to the House in 2007 and is an attorney with Liscau Lewis in New Orleans. His practice includes the area of toxic torts, class action litigation, and maritime personal injury. Representative Jim Morris of District 1, a Republican from Oil City, will serve as the House Ways and Means Vice Chair. He was also elected to serve in the House of Representatives back in 2007. In his professional life, Representative Morris is heavily involved in the oil and gas industry as a producer. You can find a full list of the committees on our Capitol Report resource page. Now, before we move on, you might be thinking, why is Camille making me listen to these names? Why should I go look up the full list? What can I even do with this information? Well, we supply you with this information because it's important for you to be engaged in the legislative process. What happens at the Capitol directly affects you, and when you're engaged, your legislators listen. This engagement really helps our advocacy efforts for you. In other legislative news, now that the appointments have been made and the committees are set up, the governor has announced that the special session where the legislature will attempt to fix the budget is to begin on Valentine's Day, February the 14th, and go through March 9th. The regular session will then begin on March 14th. But until then, laissez les bon temps rouler. I hope you have a wonderful Mardi Gras and let the good times roll. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow LOGA for up-to-date news on the oil and gas industry and the 2016 legislative session. Until next time, this is Camille Ivy-O'Donnel with LOGA TV.